Hey y'all, I'm back for another vlog of thrifting. Y'all seem to really like the last one I did, so I figured why not go ahead and do another one. And I'm sitting in my car right now. I turned my air off so that it wouldn't be noisy, and it is really hot today, so I'm gonna go ahead and head in. You already know where we are. We are at the Peddlers Mall. This is a different location from the last one I went to, so I'm excited to see what they have. First off, I want to apologize for how I sound. I'm really congested, but this Peddlers Mall actually used to be an old Kmart, and now it's just a place where you can rent out a booth and sell pretty much whatever you want. Booth rental at this Peddlers Mall starts at $145 a month for an 8 by 10 foot space. As you can see, this place is huge. You can sell anything you want, anything from frames with your child's picture still in them to knives, just a lot of knives, a whole bunch of different kinds. We've got knives and brass knuckles, knives with brass knuckles on them, or if those aren't your taste and you want something bigger, you can get a whole sword or a mace. Yeah, just pretty much anything you want. You can find it here at the Peddlers Mall. But I'm looking for movies, so found some already, and also found this really cool old school phone. Don't need that, but just thought it looked cool. Lots of movies here, lots of booths, so it's going to take me a long time to go through all of these. And I'm just keeping an eye out. This shelf said VHS tapes, but I couldn't find any VHS tapes. It just was all DVDs. Oh, except for Bartok the Magnificent on VHS. I did love that movie as a kid. I do want 10 Cloverfield Lane, but this looks like it was an old library copy, and I just don't like that aesthetic, so I didn't get it. I also saw that they had Saw and Saw 2. Just got those, though. And Hostel. Except, surprise, it has the Hostel 2 disc inside. But they had another copy of Hostel at this booth, and I checked, and it does have the right disc in it, so I was happy about that. This booth had these old school belts that just reminded me of Hot Topic from, like, my middle school days, which, throwback. And this booth had The Grudge, the remake, but I just didn't want to spend $2 on it. I heard it's really, really bad. Yeah, so I'm just keeping an eye out, looking for shelves with movies on them. It's kind of hard in a place like this because there's so much to look at, so much to get distracted by. They had the Craft Legacy at this booth sealed for $3.50, and I haven't seen it yet, so I just wasn't sure if I wanted to buy it. This booth has the DVDs are kept out of the cases so that they don't get scratches on them, which I think is pretty cool. Very nice of the seller to do that. Two early 2000s classics right next to each other, Saw and Shrek. We love to see it. This one had a decent amount of VHS tapes, and if you like Star Trek, this is the place to go. They had a ton of Star Trek VHS tapes. This booth had a ton of movies, but it's also the bane of my existence because I'm the kind of person that will go through and literally move all of these movies out of the way so I can see every single movie they have to see if there are any that I want on this shelf. And I did find 2 copies of Soul Survivors, the Killer Cut. I'm going with the holographic one, though, because it's so cool looking. I stand corrected. This booth actually had 3 copies of Soul Survivors, and it looks like this one is the Italian version, so someone must have really liked this movie. This booth just had a bunch of little gnomes, little sports-related gnomes. You'll see stuff like this where very hyper-specific themes to booths, but I found some more movies, and this booth had a lot of movies. As you can see, it's all hidden behind this stuff that's in the way. I was like, how am I going to get through? I ended up being able to make a little tiny space that I could squeeze through and try not to knock over these lamps. I managed to get through, and I was so glad that I did because I already see a movie that I really want. Has anybody heard of this movie, The Butchering? I've never heard of it. It looks pretty low budget, but looks interesting. And this booth had a steel slipcase. I don't know if you would consider this a steel book because it's just a slipcase, but Terminator 2. You all are gonna hate me, but I didn't buy that. This booth did not have movies, but it did have a ton of really cool pillows with horror-related artwork on them. That's pretty much all this booth had, except for some t-shirts and stuff, but so cool. Chucky with Toy Story 4, Evil Dead 2. Everywhere you looked, there were different horror pillows. And for something like this, I am just a little bit weary because I'm not sure where this person is getting these pillows. They look handmade. I really liked this one with all these different horror icons on it. Especially they've got Peach Fuzz on there. I love that. But I'm not sure if they are handmade pillows, where these people are getting the artwork that they're putting on here, if they're just ripping it off and printing it off of the internet, which don't love that. I don't want to say this person is doing that, but I kind of doubt they're designing all of these. That made me question buying one of these a little bit, but still, they're really, really cool, really vibrant colors. Like this person has a street trash pillow, so I feel like this person's probably a pretty big horror fan themselves if they know about these different kinds of movies and like the Scream TV show even. So yeah, I'll just show you these last few. They even had the Linnea Quigley horror workout pillow. I love that. So maybe I'll go back and buy one of those. But this copy of Mother, it had this previously viewed banner on the top that looked like it was a part of the cover, and I just don't like that kind of stuff. I don't know. Also, this Haunting in Connecticut holographic slipcase. I almost bought it, but it was $2.50, and I just bought that in my other haul. So I was really excited because I thought this was Mike Flanagan's Hush, but it's whatever this is. And also, I found Wrong Turn, but there was no disc inside. Even more disappointment. You always gotta check your cases here. And this booth looks like it had a ton of movies and VHS tapes. So here were a bunch of DVDs they all had laid out. I love when they're organized like this because they're easy to go through. And they had Saw 5, but I am looking for those clear slipcase versions, so didn't get it. They have these really cool video discs. I always get excited when I see District 9 because I think it's Session 9, but that's not what I want. And this is the first booth I've noticed that has Titanic on VHS. In my last vlog, like every booth had Titanic on VHS. Oh, and actually they have 3 versions of Titanic. They also had Speed on VHS, and I didn't get it, but I just watched it for the first time. That movie is wild. They did have Left Behind, the movie, not 1, not 2, not 3, but also the making of VHS tape. I have no idea what this is. If anyone knows, let me know. And they also had it on DVD too. They must really like this movie. Kind of obsessed with the top of this DVD. It just says, DVDs are a marvelous form of entertainment. And apparently this movie has Tobin Bell. Never heard of this either. And I'm just looking through. Took forever to go through all these movies. Ooh, they also had a sealed copy of Get Out, but I do already have one with a slipcase, so didn't get that either, but $2, not bad. A bunch of Blu-rays too. Did anybody see Ninja Assassin? I saw it when it came out, and I remember it being an absolutely wild movie. I need to rewatch it. I also just had to show you guys this strange bootleg copy of Ice Age. Like, look at this image. I have no idea what's going on here. It looks like these were made in like Microsoft Paint or something. It looks terrible. I just thought this was really funny. And did find another version of Titanic on VHS right next to this scary portrait of a Victorian boy. There were just a lot more DVDs than VHS tapes at this particular Peddlers Mall. And I thought about getting 7, but I don't know, something just made me hold off on that. I found the Devil's Rejects at a booth for $1.50, but at this booth here, they had a copy for only 50 cents. So I was gonna go with that one, but again, check your discs, people. This one was super duper scratched up, so I decided to go with the $1.50 one instead. They also had this really cool lenticular slipcover for Predator, but y'all are gonna hate me, I didn't get this one either. The disc looked kind of beat up for that one too, so I decided to leave it. This booth had a lot of little action figures, and then this random gorgeous edition of Italian movies. $40 for this whole collection, which honestly, if I had a little more money to spend, I might have got it because it was absolutely beautiful. I've never really seen a collection like this before, but I absolutely love how the discs are color coordinated to the images on the front with all of these primary colors, and here's a little shot of the back too, just so beautiful. And I'm acquiring a nice little stack of DVDs, kind of wish I got a cart because I have to carry this all around with me. And yeah, just still looking around, random bra just hanging there. You'll see a lot of stuff like that at the Peddlers Mall too, just things are everywhere. This booth was organized just like one from the other Peddlers Mall I went to in my last vlog, and if I had to guess, it's probably owned by the same vendor, but yeah, they're selling their DVDs for $2.95 each, and that was just a little too much for my taste. And this booth had another movie with the lenticular cover. I've never heard of this movie, but I always love the lenticular cover. Didn't buy this one though. This booth was selling their DVDs for 50 cents or less, which is a great deal, but it looked like they probably bought out a library, so lots of library copies of this one, which didn't really want those. This booth had some VHS tapes. Finally, I see one that I want, and it's a screener copy of Death Becomes Her. This is so
cool, y'all. I was so excited to find this, but unfortunately, I'll have to tell y'all a little story time about this tape. It's very sad, but I'll let you know in the haul portion of the video.
So I just got out of the Peddlers Mall, and as you can see, I'm kind of sweaty. I spent 3.5 hours in there, just walking around, perusing the booths. They probably have 500 booths, maybe more, I think is what the cashier said. So I spent 3.5 hours there. No lie, I was there for so long, but I did come away with a lot of movies. I bought 18 movies and the total was $26 for all of them. All DVDs except for one VHS tape, but the VHS tape I got is really cool, so I'm really excited to show you that one. Yeah, this was a really fun trip. It's really interesting because the Peddlers Mall I went to my last vlog, there was almost no one there, but this one was really busy. There were a lot of people out, a lot of people shopping the entire time that I was there. So it's kind of cool to see. And man, there's just so much stuff there. It's kind of overwhelming. It's literally like an I Spy book, if you remember those. As a kid, I would read through those, and you know, you have to find the things that you're supposed to be looking for amongst all this other stuff, and that's literally what it's like going into these stores. So I'm just looking around, scanning booths for movies, so it's a little exhausting, I will say. So I will go ahead and go over my haul, and I will see you in just a second.
So in an unfortunate turn of events, I have COVID. I did not get COVID from the Peddlers Mall. I definitely got it from my husband. He started exhibiting symptoms a day before me, and then I started exhibiting symptoms after that. So, yeah. It's been really rough. This is the first day that I've really felt okay doing stuff, getting up, moving around. As you can tell, my voice sounds pretty congested still. I do apologize for that. I know the voiceover is going to be that way too. So please bear with me with that. But yeah, I was getting really antsy, getting some cabin fever, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and film my haul now. It's been so many days since I actually went to the Peddlers Mall, but I was just too sick to do anything. So we're gonna go ahead and go through that haul. So we're gonna start out with the only VHS tape that I got, which turned out to be a huge disappointment. In the filming of me in the store, I got really excited, and I was just so pumped to see that there was an actual VHS tape, number one, that I wanted, and number two, that was a screener copy. For those who don't know, screener tapes are tapes that were promotional tapes sent out to like rental stores, obviously back when those were a thing and when they carried VHS tapes, but basically to promote the film as it was coming out, to try to get the store to stock these VHS tapes in the store and get them pumped up for it. So it would just be the full-length feature film. Usually it would be edited in some way where there would be some sort of copyright banner going across so that you couldn't copy it or try to rent it out, you know. So those are a little rarer to find on VHS, and a lot of collectors like to get them because they are harder to find. There were just fewer copies of them made. So when I saw that Death Becomes Her VHS in that bin, I got super excited. But I really should have looked a little bit closer at the tape. So the cover itself is obviously just what it looks like. And you'll see down here the little banner talking about how it's a screener. I do really love the font on this. And I'm not sure exactly what the Death Becomes Her tape actually looks like. I don't really know what image is on the cover, but just the font is really cool. And so on the front it says full-length screening cassette includes promotional trailer. So it's the full-length film plus the trailer on here. And on the back is really cool because it just tells you what the store would get if they decided to buy Death Becomes Her. And it says, a death-defying offer. If you can't live forever, at least you can live in style. The Death Becomes You pre-pack. So you have to buy 10 units to receive a luxurious fleece oversized V-neck jersey. That sounds great. A high-quality t-shirt with silkscreen hole on front and back. So obviously the movie Goldie Hawn's character gets like a hole in her stomach. So I guess it's replicating that, which is really cool. An official Death Becomes Her cap. an official MCA Universal Home Video cap, which I would love to have all of those items. Those all sound amazing. And then the suggested retail value of that is $95. So you get all of that if you buy 10 units of Death Becomes Her to rent out in your store. And down here it says, coming your way this February 1993. Funnily enough, that's when I was born, February of 93. So I just think that's really cool. So even if I can't play this tape, it's still cool to have the case. It was 50 cents. So I thought I was getting a steal, but turns out it is not the screener of Death Becomes Her. So I saw this part and I was like, well, maybe the sticker just came off, but no, this side has a little handwritten, it's written really lightly, so it's really hard to see, but it just says, aliens making contact. So someone must have just filmed this off of television and wanted to record it for some reason. I put it in my my VCR just to see what it was, and it looks like a silly, TV special about aliens, possibly. I don't know. So I was really, really bummed that this was not a Death Becomes Her screener, but I have the box, so maybe I'll find a loose copy, screener copy of Death Becomes Her without the box. We'll see. Likelihood is very, very low, but this is the only VHS tape I found at the Peddlers Mall. I don't know what's going on there. The other one I went to did not have any good VHS tapes either. So I've just had bad luck at Peddlers Malls finding VHS, but I did find some good DVDs. So we're going to go ahead and go through those. And I think we're going to start with, instead of going by booth or whatever, I'm going to go over the movies that I have not seen. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I'm going to go over the movies I have not seen and then talk about the ones that I have seen. So we're going to start with those. And I did want to show you all the receipt because some people had some questions last time about how the Peddlers Mall works. And in that voiceover, I tried to talk about it a little bit. But, so how the cashier rings it up. So I don't know if you can see, but it's got the booth number over here. So it'll ring up the booth number. And then the amount of DVDs that you got from that booth, the price, and then the total for those items purchased from that booth. So they kind of separate it all by booth, and then you can kind of just see how, each booth priced the DVDs. But it was not too bad. There was one DVD that I did spend a little more on. I've been trying to go $2 or less on DVDs, and for the most part I did that. At the other Peddlers Mall I went to in my other vlog, I was able to come out with all DVDs $1.50 or less. This one, there were a couple that I purchased for $2 just because I was like, well, I really want these and I don't mind spending a little bit more, just a couple more cents on these. But there was one that I splurged a little bit on. So I will show you that at the very end, but we're going to start with those movies that I have not seen yet. So first up is Dawn of the Dead, the remake. This one was $1.39. And this is one that I do really want to watch because I've heard it's one of the better, remakes, and especially for the zombies being really fast and vicious. So obviously I want to watch all of these at some point. That's why I bought them. But yeah, I do kind of get bummed when I see people writing in marker on these, but I don't mind it as much as on VHS tapes because it's pretty easy to clean off the plastic on the DVD. But we've got the unrated director's cut. I got a lot of unrated DVDs in this haul. So this is also, I don't know if you can tell, but a little bit scratched up on the front. I'm going to try to clean up these. Actually, I should just try to clean up all of my movies that I've gotten from secondhand stores because some of them are a little bit rough, but Dawn of the Dead. Next up, I was really excited to find this because I just got House of a Thousand Corpses in my last haul for my last vlog, and that is The Devil's Rejects, and this is one that I have not managed to see yet. I don't know if I'll like it more than House of a Thousand Corpses. I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up. I've seen some scenes from it that look pretty brutal. So, I'm still trying to decide if Rob Zombie just isn't for me, but, I saw it and I was like, let's try to round out this Firefly family. Is it a trilogy? I don't really know how many movies are in that, the Firefly universe. But, yeah, Devil's Rejects, just what I had to grab. $1.50 for this one. Next, we've got Cursed, the Wes Craven movie. I don't really know anything about this movie. I don't know if it's good. I kind of have a feeling it's not super great because I haven't heard people talk about it that much, but I really like Christina Ricci, so I figured why not get it. I love Wes Craven, so we're gonna try it out. Another unrated version. This one was only $1. Very cool. And I think it's a werewolf movie. Not really sure. And I don't know, I know that a new movie came out recently called Cursed. Or was it The Curse? And I think that was also a werewolf movie. I don't know if they're related or not. Let me know in the comments if you know. But Cursed. Another one I'm not sure if it's good or bad. The Grudge 2. Again, I've got the first Grudge, so I wanted to add to the franchise. And I like the first Grudge okay. Not my favorite J-horror, but... one of the most well-known for sure, and I haven't really heard anything about Grudge 2, but looks like it's probably pretty similar to the first one, I don't know. Also, Sam Raimi Presents, which is cool. I think the first one was also Sam Raimi Presents, and it was $1. Looks like the people selling it at the Peddlers Mall bought it at a bargain bin, so The Grudge 2. Next, we've got a sealed copy of Sinister 2. I haven't actually seen Sinister 1. So, definitely a franchise I've got to see. Don't find many sealed copies of movies at the Peddlers Mall, so I figured I'd grab this one. It was only $1. And I guess I'm going to have to crack this open at some point, but for now I'll leave it sealed. So, Sinister 2. Next up is Turistas. I don't really know much about this either, other than the fact that it's like a vacation horror. I'm sure a bunch of teens or early 20-somethings going on vacation and bad stuff happening to them, whether in a foreign country, a la, The Ruins or Hostel, something like that. So another unrated movie. It looks like on the back we've got a scalpel and some medical stuff going on, so that looks kind of freaky. It says down here, a better and scarier film than Hostel, so interested to see if it delivers on that promise, but this one was $1.50, so yeah, Turistas. So that was the last of the movies that I have not seen, and now this is the first one of the ones that I have seen, and it is 28 days later. Another one where I just got 28 weeks later, my other haul, on my other vlogs, so I'm really, really excited to have 1 and 2 in this franchise. Don't really know if there are any other ones in the franchise. I'll have to look into that, but this one was $1. I do really like this one a lot. I saw it for the first time very recently, and I was really blown away by it, so 28 days later. I was really, really stoked to find this one. I was kind of surprised that the Peddlers Mall had this, but House of the Devil, Ty West. It has been a hot minute since I saw this movie, and I remember liking it all right. I have a feeling that I will like it more on a rewatch, just because I kind of get Ty West's filming style a little better now after seeing X and really liking X, so I am really excited to revisit this one. But yeah, I'm just really surprised to find it at the Peddlers Mall. I don't know why. So this was one I paid $2 for, but didn't mind because I was just so surprised to see it there. So House of the Devil. Next we've got Soul Survivors, which, as far as movies go, not my favorite. Don't think it's a good movie, which you're probably wondering, why would I buy it if I don't think it's a good movie? But I am just such a sucker for these holographic covers. And as you saw in the video, this one booth had like so many copies of this one movie, which is very odd because it's really not a popular movie at all. But it's got, the floating heads of the, 90s, early 2000s, the classic floating head poster. It's really not very good. But yeah, I don't know why. I saw it and I was like, hey, gonna grab it. I do like these like creepy eyes in the rear view on the back. I just really love Eliza Dushku, so I figured why not go ahead and buy it. It was $1. It says it's the killer cut. I guess that means the director's cut. I'm not really sure. It just says never before seen killer cut, the version you weren't allowed to see on the big screen. So I'm not sure which version I watched. I think I watched this on Tubi or something, so I don't know if it was the killer cut or not, but yeah, not much else to say about this movie, other than the fact that it's pretty. So, Soul Survivors, another unrated. And I really love this cover a lot, even though I don't love this movie as much as I love the original Black Christmas, but this is the first of the remakes. This one was $2, so yeah, one that I watch not every Christmas, but I'll throw it on. You know, if I'm feeling in the mood, there are definitely problems with this movie for sure. It is not perfect, but it'll definitely get you in the Christmas mood, which is why I watch these kinds of movies. So, yeah, I really like Katie Cassidy. I think she does a good job in this. You know, I love, who's the actress who plays Gretchen in Mean Girls? I can never remember her name. Oh, Lacey Chabert, yes. She's in this movie. Michelle Trachtenberg's in this movie. A lot of heavy hitters from the early 2000s. Yeah, again, not perfect, but it's one that I rewatched, so had to grab it and didn't mind spending $2, because why not? So, Black Christmas. Another one that I was really, really stoked to find. High Tension. The new French Extremity movie. This is another unrated version. Only $1, which is amazing. Yeah, I think I've only seen this movie one time. It's pretty brutal, and I know some people have issue with the twist. I don't want to spoil anything for those who haven't seen it, but it paints a certain kind of people in a certain light that might not be, you know, the best for that kind of group of people who have been marginalized before. So, yeah, kind of a vague way to say it, but I don't want to give anything away. So, still really, really intense, crazy gore effects, super engaging the whole time. So, definitely one that I want to watch multiple times. And I really want to add, Inside is another new French Extremity movie that I need to add to my collection. I'm looking for that everywhere I go. I can't seem to find it, but very, very glad that I found High Tension at the Peddlers Mall. Next, we've got Jeepers Creepers. Not going to spend a lot of time on this movie. I've talked about it before on my channel. I did get the VHS of this from a Goodwill not too long ago, but I have two on DVD, and I wanted to round out these franchises, so I figured snag it for $1. Yeah, not a fave, but just one that I wanted to have in my collection, so Jeepers Creepers. Next is, I guess, like a horror comedy, but Warm Bodies. Just saw this for the first time this year, actually. I watched it for my 14 Days of Heartbreak Horror, because I knew that there was a kind of a central romance in it between the zombie guy and the living girl. I thought it was cute. I thought it was fun. I really love Nicholas Hoult as an actor. He does a great job. So, again, $1. Thought I'd snag it. Warm Bodies. I'll go ahead and go over these next two together because they are an original and a sequel, and that is Hostel and Hostel Part 2. Hostel is a slipcase, which is great. Always love to get slipcases when I can. I did spend a little bit more for this one. Splurged a whole $1.50 for it over that other copy that I found that did not have the slipcase, but seemed to be in worse condition too. So, figured why not just grab this one. Again, unrated version. Love to have it. Maybe I'll have to watch this and Teresa's back to back to see which one is actually scarier, but, Hostel. And I do actually prefer Hostel 2 to the first Hostel. I think that the characters are way more likable. Just really, really did not like those guys in the first one. The girls in the second one are just, I don't know. I don't know if I can just relate to them more because I am also a girl, but yeah, this one was only $1. And I've never seen 3, but I would like to get 3 to, you know, round out the franchise. but don't really know how that one is. I feel like I've heard it's not great, but yeah. Hostel 1 and 2. And last but not least, this is the movie that I spent more than $2 on, more than $3 on, more than $4 on, and that is Seven. But it is this special release, the new line Platinum Series. It's a side slipcase. So we'll get a close-up on the outside first. Yeah, this one was $4.95. As you saw, I was looking at some other copies of Seven that were just the regular old DVD, and I kept passing them up because I was like, I feel like it's just such a common DVD. So I was waiting, and then I found this one. I'm so glad that I waited, and this is so cool. It is like a composition book, and here's the front. As you can see, it says Disc 1, the movie, Disc 2, supplemental material. Side just has the title again, and the back is just the, composition, texture. So if we open it up, might have to do some better close-ups on these later, but this is the first fold out for Disc 1. Super cool. Just the quality of this is really awesome. Disc 2 with all these really cool images. Oh, just realized that Disc 1 was upside down. We'll try getting a close-up on those. So yeah, I do really like this movie a lot. I think it's really great. David Fincher does a fantastic job directing, so yeah, I was super excited to snag this. I passed up a lot of those other kind of special editions of movies because I just didn't know if I would really watch them. The Terminator one, the Predator one, but this is one that I found that I was like, I'll splurge a little bit and spend almost $5 on it. So, Seven. Okay, so that is my haul from this vlog. Again, I just went to the Peddlers Mall, that one Peddlers Mall. It was huge. If you guys like me going to a bunch of different places more, if you prefer that for vlogs, or if you do like these just straight up, one store deep dives, then let me know. And I hope I could answer some questions for those who are curious about Peddlers Malls. And I do believe that they're just in Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana. But I'm sure there are places like them around in other states. So yeah, it's just a place where I find a lot of good movies for pretty cheap. So thanks again for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this vlog. Leave any comments below. I love talking to y'all down there. If you like this vlog, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Again, I want to apologize for my voice in this video. I don't usually sound like this, but I just wanted to get something out there for you guys. I was tired of waiting to film something. So yeah, thank you for bearing with me. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and we'll talk horror next time.
Making contact, an out-of-this-world adventure.